Tyranny on steroids, and it's happening. And again, YouTube channels everywhere with hundreds of thousands of views, big channels that separate people. I mean, I told folks about, and it's almost like I'm conditioned now to accept this. I talked to Nate Evans, his own channel since 2006, put a few of my videos on, the director's account. YouTube shut it down and didn't give him copyright violations. They just said, we're taking your account away. We're getting hundreds of emails from people that have the same thing happen on YouTube. And now Google announces they're ending the internet. They're ending video on their internet system. And they're phasing out the U and YouTube to mainline TV shows and movies. They've already moved most of the user videos off the main page. They're doing it. They've announced it. This is happening. Let's go ahead and play Rahm Emanuel. Grandpa, is it really true that...
not one far from liking...
Hold on, pause it. Back it up.
And policy, but
back it up. Grandpa, is it really true once we could own firearms? Yes, once we did, but don't let anybody hear. They'll arrest us. Hold on, a hover drone's flying over. Just face scanned us. I mean, this is tyranny. This is the norm everywhere else. It's happening here. Criminals have taken over. They own both parties. I keep repeating that. It's almost like a Mayday situation at this point. And both parties are controlled. The Republicans are standing down. It's all staged. Look, go ahead and play Rahm Emanuel, and now they've introduced the bill. And people say, oh, it will never pass. I'm getting emails going, I don't know if this is credible. Yeah, they introduced it, Alex, but it doesn't have much of a chance of passing. I mean, and they've introduced bills to arrest you if they don't like what you say, but it ain't going to pass. The point is they're trying it, and a lot of this stuff is passing. All right, go ahead and play Rahm Emanuel. Here it is.
One issue as a test vote and then take it into the election. That is, if you are on the no-fly list because you are known as maybe a possible terrorist, you cannot buy a handgun in America. And I am not one far from liking the mixing of politics and policy, but as my old boss used to say, give me that vote and throw me into that briar patch. I'll make politics out of that every day, because if it's between that terrorist list and the NRA, I know where America is going to be every time, and they're going to make the right choice, and we have got to start building on that. That is the right thing to take into the election, and it's the right policy. If you're on that no-fly list, your access to the right to bear arms is canceled because you're not part of the American family. You don't deserve that right. There is no right for you if you're on that terrorist list.
All right, let's stop right there. Number one issue. Now, that says 700,000, and it was 1 million as of a year ago. 6 months ago, the number was 1,100,000. In fact, search engine for folks, no-fly list reaches 1 million. He'll have articles from 2007 on that. So I say 1,100,000. It's way above that. And then they have 4 million plus names on a crime list that most of them aren't even convicted criminals. And they say no car loan, no house, no apartment, no job. But the illegals are all exempt from this. So I want to put that up on screen for folks. But this is all happening. What is the bill number to arrest you under felony charges if someone says you hurt their feelings online? This is H.R. 1966. It's also discriminatory. It's only for Internet people, not the mainstream media. H.R. 1966. What is the bill number to list everybody in the Homeland Security right-wing extremist report as terrorists so they can't own firearms? H.R. 2159. Okay, you can check that out. Again, the Defense Department, AP, and Heritage.org have both reported that there's been a gag order given to all commissioned officers that they are not allowed to even talk to members of Congress about the budget. Before, they would always call in brass and question them about what they thought the best weapon systems were and was the executive doing the right thing, because Congress, raises the money for that, and then they declare war and the president executes it. And they've been told you're not allowed to talk to Congress. Just more of Congress being made to be ceremonial, dovetailing with the PDD 51 saying that Congress is basically defunct. So are the governors and the states under the John Warner Defense Authorization Act. Scientists experiment with vaccinations and GMO corn. This is out of the Meat and Poultry. This is a pro-meat and poultry industry publication. And they're already doing this. I saw this over a decade ago, but they're now announcing it to the slaves. It says Iowa State University researchers are putting flu vaccines in genetic makeup of corn, which may someday allow pigs and humans to get a flu vaccination simply by eating corn and corn products. You can Google pharmacological crops, pharmacological vaccine crops, and you'll read over a decade ago where they had live HIV in corn. That's been mixed in with the main corn crops. I'm not kidding. You can actually look it up if you'd like. And it's just all part of the freedom. All right. But hey, it doesn't matter. The cops are tough. They got weapons. They want ours. And, the cops say, well, we're pro Second Amendment. Where are you? You speaking out against all this? No. You're strutting around telling me I don't have any First Amendment, and we've caught the cops in England and in Denver and in Canada and everywhere else staging riots against other cops to blame protesters. That's now been in the mainstream British news. The cops, like we told you, were dressed up like anarchists, attacking other cops, and then going through the police line. It was all staged so they could attack people. It was cops up there knocking the windows out because the government wants to demonize protesting and demonstrating. You understand? London Guardian, we told you about this 8 years ago. This is not new. It's already in dozens of U.S. airports that we know of, starting in Boston, Logan. But now they're introducing it to the slaves. Brain scanning may be used in security checks. It's like 10 years after they put in license plate reading software and all the major highway cameras, tracking everywhere you go and what you do. They're now announcing this to the slaves after it's in place. Brain scanning may be used in security checks. Distinctive brain patterns can become the latest subject of biometric scanning. At EU, researchers successfully tested technology to verify identities for security checks. And they now supposedly have your brainwave pattern, whether you're upset or not. This will be the new quackery. They sent hundreds of thousands to prison and many to death row with fake lie detector tests. And now and those have been disproven to be fraud. So now they just have another quack machine that, the CAT scan says you just lied when TSA asked you that question. It's all part of training you. You're a bad criminal. The government's God, and all part of you submitting to be a slave. You can't even go to the beach now in Texas without them asking you questions and license plate scanning cameras. And we put up videos of me at the ferry from Galveston to Bolivar, and people email me going, well, that's to stop the illegal aliens coming into America. That's the border. No, it's a U.S. to U.S. ferry, a quarter mile across, and they only search U.S. citizens on record. Illegal aliens are left alone, okay? Period. We're the slaves. We're the schmucks. I was searched 6 times going back and forth. I know. I watch what happened. It's all part of being a slave. YouTube free speech purge accelerates. Infowarrior channel banned. A bunch of other channels banned. Nate Evans channel banned. No connection to us. Just ban. Anything with Alex Jones. Ban. They don't care if you know they're censoring. They want to send the message, you don't post Alex Jones. And if we give in to it, they win. God, these people make me sick. Look at this one. I want to show people this photo of tyranny before I get into the child kidnapping rings run by the government. Where is that in my stack? I just had that. Oh, here it is. NAU precursor, EU police subdue sovereignty protesters. Peaceful protesters in Serbia are being forced off their land. I'm not taking sides here. I'm not, Serbian, folks. I'm not Croatian. I'm not Muslim. I don't have a dog in the fight. I've watched what's happened. And they're peacefully with flags, so they were tear gassed and rubber bulleted by NATO police saying no protest allowed. I want to show people these photos. This is up on prisonplanet.com. NAU precursor, EU police subdue sovereignty protesters. Just amazing to have that right there. Okay, let me get into this. I'm not going to spend all day on this, but I'm going to play the Cynthia McKinney clip. It's a long clip about trillions missing, and they say, we won't say where the money is. Dr. Chu won't tell you, Rumsfeld says, and the head of the guy that ran the Northcom stuff on 9/11, General Myers, is in there whitewashing and sucking on breath mints neurotically. It's all a big joke to him. And this is why they went after McKinney and put all that money against her to get her out of there, because she'd ask real questions. But it's not just McKinney saying this. I have BBC, AP, Chicago Tribune. Where DynCorp, Halliburton, all of them are caught running giant child kidnapping rings. And one day I saw cops out front of the DynCorp building here in Austin. I walked up and I said, that's DynCorp. They run child kidnapping rings. And they laughed at me and said, oh, I know, I'll work in that building sometimes. I'm like, they're all smiling. See, it's mental illness, folks. The whole country's evil. I'm telling you right now. We got to admit we've turned into a bunch of demons. This is just going to get worse. But every time we talk about, Obama says he's going to release hundreds of new photos. And you watch. It'll be people in clown outfits or people naked with dogs biting them. Sounds bad, or a dead body or something. But they admit Congress has seen hundreds of videos, thousands of photos of them raping children, snuff films, you name it, under CIA orders, torturing people torturing their children. Things I can't mention on air. This man, General Tagumba, he's an American citizen, Filipino-American general, 3-star general. He was sent to do the report. He did a real report. And then General Tagumba got basically threatened as Ray McGovern's talked to him and talked about it. I need to get the general on sometime, but it's been hard to get him on, about how they threatened him. He said, well, this is the report. This is what happened. And because he said he couldn't be part of it. They were raping children with battery acid and just stuff out of Hellraiser, stuff out of Hostel. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard it described. I mean, stuff worse than the worst Hollywood stuff you can imagine. And it says the general's report, how Antonio Tagumba, who investigated Abu Ghraib scandal, became one of its casualties. And they came after him. And they killed a bunch of people, too, in the military. Videos amplify pictures of violence. The raw story, Seymour Hersh reveals shocking new details of Abu Ghraib. Father, son forced to do acts together. Evidence for Hersh's claims of